In this video, I'm going to talk to you about something every yo-yoer has to deal with, and that is string tension, this twisting of the string that happens. New players like to call that spaghetti string. And I'm actually going to teach you two tricks that will help you deal with string tension, and both of these tricks are really great, and they'd be worth learning on their own, but the fact that they help you deal with string tension makes them absolutely essential if you want to get good at yo-yoing. Now, I am going to be doing these with a responsive or a beginner yo-yo, and we do have another video that teaches you how to do tricks to deal with string tension with an unresponsive yo-yo, so if you have one of those, you'll want to check that video out. Now, before I teach you the two tricks, what I actually want to do first is I want to talk about the tricks that you're already doing that will add or remove tension from the string. But before I get to that, I just want to talk about what string tension is so you have kind of a baseline for understanding how all of this fits together. Now, if you were to just look at a yo-yo string, what you'll notice is that it's really just two strands wound around each other. And so when we talk about string tension being too tight, that means that those strands are wound more times than it would be if it were neutral. And so that causes little ridges in the string. Those ridges end up coming closer and closer and closer together. When we talk about having too little string tension, that means that the strands of string are wound around fewer times than when it's neutral, so that those little ridges are actually further apart than usual. And here's the thing, it doesn't matter if your string is too tight or too loose, both will cause string tension, but you have to accurately diagnose whether it's too loose or too tight so that you can do the right trick to solve the problem. Now, as I already mentioned, just as you're going about your business doing regular yo-yo tricks, your string tension is pretty much always changing, and that's because there's two different things that can happen with the yo-yo that will cause the string tension to change. The first thing is that the string could be orbiting around the yo-yo like this. That will cause a change in string tension, or you could think about it the opposite way, the yo-yo orbiting around the string. And the other way that string tension is going to change is if your yo-yo is flipping or rotating like this. Now, when I was showing you the first way, this will already look like something that you're probably already doing, and that's just winding your yo-yo in the traditional way. And that actually does change the tension of your string, which can cause these messy string tension problems. Now, we do have another video that teaches you 4 easy ways to wind a string, and those ways do not add tension or change your string tension at all. So if you haven't learned those, you definitely want to check that video out. Now, besides winding the string, there are a couple of tricks that cause that same thing to happen, which will change your string tension. For example, the trick pinwheel when thrown off of a breakaway like this, or the trick around the world. Now, if you're right-handed, winding the string in the normal way and doing pinwheel and doing around the world, all of those will make your string tighter. Now, if you do any of those things in reverse, then it will make your string looser. Now, here's the crazy thing. If you're left-handed, exactly the opposite is true. If you normally wind your string up or do your pinwheel around the world, that makes your string looser. And again, if you do them in reverse, that makes it tighter. And so a lot of times with right and left-handed players, anything you'd say about right-handed is opposite for left-handed players. Now, you may be wondering, how is the yo-yo ever going to be turning like this as I'm playing? So to illustrate it, I got an oracle here. I got 2 different colors and I put them together so that you can see the different halves very clearly. And it actually happens a lot more often than you think because, watch this, I'm just going to do a normal throw. The white half is on the inside, and now the blue half is on the inside, which means that every single time you do a normal throw, your string tension is changing. If you're right-handed, the normal throw is going to make your string tension tighter. If you're left-handed, it's going to be looser. Now, there's also tricks that cause the yo-yo to flip over. Most notably is looping. And so you can see as I continue to loop the yo-yo, the halves keep switching sides. And so again, if you're right-handed and you're looping, the string is going to be getting looser. If you are left-handed, it's going to be getting tighter. Now, every single trick where the yo-yo flips over, every looping type trick is going to cause a change in string tension. And so in each of those videos, we're going to tell you how the string tension changes. But now that we've got all that in mind, let's actually learn the tricks. The first trick I'm going to show you is Sidewinder, and that looks like this. You can do it to either the right or the left. And the way to think about this, and this is true whether you're right or left-handed, is if your hand is on the right side of the yo-yo, then it is going to make the string tighter. If your hand is on the left side of the yo-yo, it is going to make your string looser. Now, as you can see, this trick is pretty simple. There's not a whole lot going on, but you do have to do it exactly right in order to make it work. So the first thing that you want to be thinking about is that you want to find yourself in a position where the yo-yo is not all the way wound up, but your hand is perfectly perpendicular to the yo-yo. And as long as this is true, then that string is going to be spinning near the side of the yo-yo, which will cause the string tension to change. So the way that I achieve this is instead of just pulling the yo-yo up and trying to get my hand off to the side, that doesn't really work very well. So what I do is I use that technique that I've showed you in other videos where I actually drop my hand toward the yo-yo to get it to come back up. But before I do that, I want to get some upward movement on the yo-yo so that it is moving upwards as I drop my hand down. So the way I achieve that is I raise the yo-yo up slowly, and as the yo-yo is starting to raise up, then I kind of chop down with my hand right next to the yo-yo. And like I said, as long as your hand is parallel, is right next to the yo-yo, then it is going to be doing that kind of UFO type motion, which will cause the string tension to change. So the one with the yo-yo on the inside, I find it a little bit easier to learn. And again, you just kind of slowly raise your hand as the yo-yo starts moving up. You chop down, make sure your hand is right next to the yo-yo, and then eventually the yo-yo will drop below your hand, and that will cause the yo-yo to fully respond and come back up to your hand. Now, if you want to do it with your hand on the inside, with your yo-yo on the outside, it's still pretty much the same, but what I do is I end up turning my hand over so that my palm is still facing the yo-yo. That allows me to kind of control where the string is a little bit better, because that's how the string is coming off my finger from the inside of my palm. But it also sets me up a little bit better for the catch. But otherwise, it's pretty similar. I'm going to be lifting the yo-yo up, bringing my hand down right next to the yo-yo, except my hand is going to be turned over like this. And as long as my hand is parallel to the yo-yo, then it is going to be executing the trick properly. Now, one more thing that you can keep in mind with this is as long as your hand is parallel to the yo-yo, it's going to continue to change the string tension. And so something else you can do if you want to get even more change out of the string in one throw is you can kind of follow the yo-yo up and down as it's moving, and that way you can do it longer, which will change the string tension even more. To catch the yo-yo, all you need to do is wait for the yo-yo to start to fall a little bit below your hand, and then just position your hand right over the top of the yo-yo, and the yo-yo will simply wind right into your hand, just like it would with a normal throw. Now, the last tip that I can give is you don't really need to throw the yo-yo all that hard, especially when you're first practicing this trick. If this trick gets a little bit out of control, the yo-yo can really go wild on you, and it it can be a little bit scary. And so the best thing that you can do is just not throw it too hard, wait until your technique is really good, and then eventually you do want to start throwing the yo-yo harder, because the faster the yo-yo is spinning, the faster it's going to adjust the tension. Now, when it comes to the trick UFO, it doesn't matter if you're right or left-handed. If you throw the yo-yo off to the right, it will tighten the string. If you throw it to the left, then it will loosen the string. And so in order to make this trick work, the first thing that you need to do is you need to actually throw your yo-yo intentionally crooked, and the more crooked the better. Now, as we know from our normal throw, if you keep your palm flat, when you throw your yo-yo, then that is going to cause your yo-yo to spin straight. And so if you want to throw crooked, then that means that your palm needs to be angled when you throw the yo-yo. And the easiest way to do that, if you're going to throw it to the outside, is to just lift your elbow up. You can see that just as I lift my elbow, my palm naturally is now angled in that direction, which means if I throw it, the yo-yo is pretty angled, I can pick it up and do the trick. Now, if you want to throw the yo-yo to the inside at an angle, it's really just the same thing, but instead of bringing your elbow out, you're going to bring it in. And this is quite a bit more awkward, but you can see now my palm is facing the outside, and I can kind of throw across my body. And it's really just the same throw, it's just more at an angle, and you can then do the trick. Now, with this trick, the more angled the better, because if you don't throw it at much of an angle, then it's going to take a little bit more time before the yo-yo levels out and actually starts to do the trick. So the more horizontal you can throw it, the better. Now, the biggest problem people have with this trick is that the spin is dying before they can bring the yo-yo back to their hand, and there could be a few reasons. One, you might not be throwing it at enough of an angle, so it takes too long for the yo-yo to level out before you can bring it back. The second problem is also very common, that people just don't throw this trick as hard as they need to. And so you really need to throw pretty hard, because the string is always touching the side of the yo-yo as the trick happens, and that kills the spin pretty quickly. Now, the third thing that can cause people problems when they do this trick is sometimes because this throw is a little bit different than normal, the yo-yo doesn't actually sleep when it gets to the bottom of the string, and it just comes right back. And so as you know from our video on how to throw a sleeper, if that is happening with your normal throw, you kind of need to learn how to cushion the throw a little bit so that even if you're throwing it hard, the yo-yo will sleep. Now, what you can do with this trick is you can use that same kind of cushioning technique, but you can also do a couple different things. If you let the yo-yo go a little bit earlier, then the yo-yo will kind of swing around which will help cushion the throw a little bit. Another thing that you can do, and this is the opposite of what I just said, but if you're having a really easy time making your normal throw sleep, you can just angle it a little bit and you can kind of work your way over until you are good enough to throw it very angled and perform the trick properly, and just kind of go incrementally, maybe add a little bit more power, a little bit more angle until you have this trick down. Another problem that you can have when you're practicing this trick is that you forget that you should be practicing one side and then the other side, because if you don't do that, your string is either going to get super tight or super loose, and that's really going to make the trick difficult. Also, when you're practicing this trick, don't hold the trick too long. If you hold the trick too long, especially when you are loosening the string, the yo-yo can fall right out of the string. So if that's happened to you, most likely you just held the trick a little bit too long. Now, in order to get the yo-yo to come back, all you need to do is lift the yo-yo up and make it even with your hand. And as soon as it's even with your hand, if it's a very responsive yo-yo, it will come right back, assuming you've got enough spin. And there's really nothing else to it. Just make sure you have enough spin. As soon as it's level, it'll take just a moment and then come right back. And that's how you do the UFO. Now, another cool thing that you can do with this trick is you don't actually have to pick up the string. You can actually just let the yo-yo sleep down at the bottom of the string. And if you position your hand right over the yo-yo, it will also cause the string to spin out, which will have the exact same effect as far as changing the string tension. And again, if you do this, you can throw it both ways and adjust your string in both directions. Now, just a heads up, Flying Saucer and Sidewinder are not the only two tricks that you can use to adjust your string tension. In our Walk the Dog video, we show you a trick where you can get that same UFO motion on the string while doing Walk the Dog. So if you want to learn that trick, definitely check that video out as well. So I hope that answered most or all of your questions about string tension, and now you can just get rid of that spaghetti string and move forward in the rest of your yo-yo life.